It was October, yet the heat refused to break. In the back row of a lecture hall at Blue City University, a male student lay slumped over his desk, hovering on the edge of sleep. The 4 o'clock sun slanted sharply through the glass windows, landing squarely on him. He twirled a pen idly between his fingers, an open textbook propped up vertically on the desk to block the glare. It didn't do much good. Half of his face remained exposed to the relentless light. It was an English lecture, and with a few minutes left, the professor sat in a chair by the podium, scrolling through his phone with a suppressed smile, indifferent to the fact that half the class had succumbed to the afternoon drowsiness. "Hey, did you check the group chat?" a girl in the front row whispered. "What message?" her friend replied. Terry shifted in his seat, pulling his book a little closer. Finally, his face was shaded. "Jerry is down there playing basketball." "Jerry formed the math department?" "Yeah." Terry opened his eyes. The two girls in front of him were already craning their necks, trying to peek out the window discreetly so the professor wouldn't notice. "Which one is Jerry?" "I didn't wear my glasses," one girl whispered frantically. "I didn't wear mine either. I thought I'd just go straight home after class." The girls leaned closer to the glass, keeping one eye on the podium. "Which one? There are so many guys." "I don't know. Ask the group chat." Just then, a voice drifted from behind them. "The one in the white shirt and black pants." The girls turned around. Terry was just withdrawing his gaze from the windowsill. The girl by the window suppressed her excitement. "Oh, thanks." The other girl asked, "You know him too?" Before Terry could answer, the first girl gasped, turning back to the window. "He got the ball." At that precise moment, the figure in white and black down on the court launched a three-pointer. It went in cleanly. "Wow." The girls breathed in unison. Terry turned his head to look again. "So handsome," one whispered. "That's Jerry for you." Unfortunately, the ball had already hit the ground, and Terry missed the shot. The English class ended as abruptly as usual. The professor, checking his watch, packed up his books early and was out the door the moment the bell stopped ringing. Tomorrow was the weekend, and low groans of liberation echoed through the room, followed by the scraping of chairs. "Don't leave yet, everyone," a voice shouted over the rustling of bags. A male student from the front row walked onto the podium. "I have an announcement." As the student reached for his notebook, he suddenly yelled toward the back row. Terry, who already had his bag slung over one shoulder, stopped and looked at the podium. "What are you doing?" "I said I have an announcement." "Did you hear me?" The guy on the podium, Lance, was clearly impatient. The entire class turned their eyes to Terry. Terry simply withdrew his gaze, turned his head, and walked out the back door without a word. "Terry," Lance shouted. "What are you so arrogant about?" Everyone in the art department knew that Terry and Lance didn't get along. Their animosity had started freshman year and persisted ever since. One was the top student in every major subject. The other was the teacher's pet who ran errands. Both were favored by the faculty, so neither suffered much from the feud. Lance had a short temper, and classmates often worried he might do something drastic, but Terry never engaged. Just like today, no matter how much Lance shouted, Terry simply ignored him. Terry possessed a naturally haughty face, especially his eyes, which created a sense of distance when he wasn't smiling. Many called him a born artist. But no one could deny that when Terry did smile, he was stunning, especially with the small mole on the tip of his nose that added a touch of playfulness to his features. With Terry gone, the class grew impatient, urging Lance to hurry up. Lance swallowed his anger and rushed through the announcement. Leaving the English building, Terry took a shortcut via the overpass. It offered a clear view of the basketball court below. By the time he reached it, the crowd had dispersed. Some were packing bags, others drinking water. He didn't see Jerry. Terry stopped looking and hurried on. He had a painting to finish for an event tomorrow. After being baked in the sun for half the class, Terry felt parched. He ducked into a nearby convenience store. As he entered, he heard a deep voice behind him. "I'm going to buy a water." Terry glanced back, then moved to the refrigerators. He opened the glass door, took out a bottle of water, and let the door swing shut gently. However, he didn't use enough force, and the door didn't seal. A large hand suddenly pressed against the door frame above Terry's head, pushing it shut. Terry blinked softly. Terry and Jerry walked to the cashier one after the other. When it was his turn, the cashier scanned the item. Terry pulled out his phone. Together, Terry said softly, As he spoke, the store's automated speaker announced, "Payment received, for dollars." In Terry's peripheral vision, he saw the person behind him look up from his phone at the sound. It was just the two of them in the store. Terry paid and turned to leave as if nothing unusual had happened. But he only made it 2 steps before he was blocked. Not fully blocked, but the guy moved faster, stepping sideways to wave a bottle of mineral water in front of him. "Student," Jerry called out. Jerry noticed that when the water bottle brushed against the other guy's arm, he flinched slightly. Jerry pulled the bottle back a fraction but kept his body in the way. "Do we know each other?" The guy in front of him was a bit shorter, with slightly curly hair tied back in a tiny ponytail. He didn't look at Jerry. No. Jerry wanted to press further, but the guy stepped around him. Outside, someone called Jerry's name. "What are you doing?" Jerry glanced outside, and in that split second, the guy with the ponytail walked away with long strides. Jerry looked down at the water in his hand, then walked out. "What were you doing in there?" his roommate, Zach, asked. "Run into someone you know?" "I don't know." Jerry looked down the path the guy had taken, but he was gone. "Not familiar." Jerry opened the water and took a drink. Zach laughed suddenly. "You don't know him, but I do." "You do?" Jerry asked. "That's Terry," Zach said. "Who?" "Terry. From the art department. The campus heartthrob? He was famous freshman year." "You don't know him?" "No," Jerry said. Zach laughed again. "How is he?" "Handsome, right?" "Handsome." Jerry recalled the brief encounter. He didn't have a clear picture of the face, just the little ponytail, very pale skin, and the way the guy's side profile turned red the moment Jerry spoke to him. "Is he handsome?" Jerry said. "Didn't feel it." Terry took the small path back to his apartment. Once he was clear of the area, his heart finally stopped racing so frantically. The sun was hot, and he remembered the water in his hand. He opened it and drank half the bottle. His phone buzzed with a message from his friend, Dom. The message read, "Lance said to remember to hand in the registration form for Sunday night's class meeting." Seriously, a group text would have sufficed. He just likes holding everyone up. No wonder nobody likes him. Terry replied, "Thanks." Got it. Dom was Terry's former roommate. Terry had lived in the dorms for only a month freshman year before moving out to rent a studio apartment. Lance had been one of his roommates, too. Thinking of this, Terry felt a wave of nausea. Their 4-person dorm had included a senior from the same major. According to Dom, Lance had eventually been kicked out by the senior and replaced by someone else. Terry's bed had remained empty. The senior and Dom kept it clean, hoping Terry might return, so no one piled junk on it. Back at his apartment, Terry threw his bag down, ordered takeout, and started painting. But as he touched the brush to the paper, his hand paused. "Do we know each other?" The voice echoed in his ears. The cool sensation of the water bottle touching his arm seemed to linger. Terry felt hot again. "Stop thinking about it," he muttered. "Just paint." What Terry didn't know was that on the other side of campus, his name was being frequently mentioned by a group of guys. "That Terry," Zach was saying. He won some competition and got on the front page of the university website. When he first enrolled, the scene was crazy. He got out of his dad's car, and people were taking photos like he was a celebrity. It was ridiculous. "You really haven't heard of him?" "Nope," Jerry said, focused on his phone, barely listening. The math department and the art department were worlds apart. Zach was addicted to gossip. He knew everything happening on campus, though his version of events was usually 10 times more dramatic than reality. Seeing Jerry unresponsive to the topic of the handsome art student, Zach switched to basketball talk. "You played great today, Jerry. You really showed those arrogant chemistry guys who's boss." They arrived at the dorm. The door opened to reveal 3 roommates sitting in identical postures, playing mobile games. "He's just flashy," one roommate said, not looking up. "Don't let that cold exterior fool you. Who knows what he does outside? Probably wild." "Tisk," another roommate clicked his tongue. "Defeat," the game announced in unison from all 3 phones. The roommate sighed, finally looking up to see Jerry and Zach. "You're back," one said. Jerry and Zach placed their takeout on the table. Lance, who was visiting their dorm, put away his phone and leaned in. "Yo, got any for me?" "No," Jerry said flatly. Lance didn't take the hint. "It's fine, I'll just have a bite of yours." I said no. Jerry's voice was impatient. "Do you not understand human speech?" Lance swallowed hard. "We're going to eat now," Jerry added. "In this dorm, That was a clear eviction notice. No one dared to speak. Lance stood up awkwardly. And in the future, Jerry said without looking at him, don't badmouth people in my dorm. Lance left, slamming the door. Zach looked at the door with disgust. Why does he keep coming here? Who knows, said Nate, the gamer who had just lost. He just walks in if the door is open. And he sucks at games. I lost all afternoon, said Dom, the third roommate. Speechless. We can't get rid of him. You know how he is, Nate said. I was just scared Jerry was going to start arguing with him. Whatever, let's eat. We'll earn the stars back tonight with Jerry. Jerry smiled slightly. I'm that useful? Jerry is the best, they chorused. They unpacked the food. Zach asked, who was Lance talking about? Who's wild? Probably Terry, Nate said. I bet. Jerry snapped apart his disposable chopsticks and lifted his eyelids. It must be him. Lance is obsessed with Terry. He's trash, Zach said. Always spreading rumors. Nobody believes him anyway. Speaking of Terry, Zach said through a mouthful of rice. Jerry ran into him at the convenience store today. The two roommates turned to Jerry in unison. Really? Zach laughed at their expressions. Jerry said he was just okay. Jerry was the ultimate straight guy in the eyes of his roommates, and pretty much everyone else. He was the youngest in the dorm, but everyone called him Brother Jerry. He was handsome, capable, smart, laid back, yet decisive. He was the ideal group project partner. Ruthless efficiency, few words. You guys aren't familiar? Nate asked. I heard you guys talking about colds and water and stuff. If we were familiar, would I have asked for his WeChat today? Jerry countered. You asked for his WeChat? Zach shouted. You never actively add anyone. I do now, Jerry said calmly. You asked for an art student's contact info. What are you planning? Just then, a notification popped up on Jerry's phone. A new friend request. He clicked accept. Any problems? Jerry asked. No problem, Zach said shocked. Jerry clicked into Terry's profile. It was sparse. Only drawings, paintings, and vague captions visible for the last month. Terry, having checked his own profile twice to make sure it was perfect, had sent the request. He immediately went to check Jerry's profile. Also set to 1 month visibility, but tragically empty. Terry looked up to see a senior student, a girl who had helped him freshman year, smiling at him. He was currently standing at a booth for the Discover Art event. What's wrong? Terry asked. What's wrong? You actually gave your WeChat, the senior teased. I've never seen you so attentive explaining the event to anyone. Terry smiled faintly. Why not? And you're smiling at him, she noted. He's handsome, Terry said rightfully. The senior laughed. True. Handsome guys attracting handsome guys. Makes sense. Terry's phone buzzed. He picked it up quickly. Jerry had sent 2 messages. Hello, Jerry. Junior. Mathematics. Terry looked down and typed. Terry. Sophomore. Art. He thought for a moment and added. Hello, senior. I know of you, Jerry replied. The corners of Terry's mouth twitched up involuntarily. I know of you too. After that brief introduction, silence followed. Terry changed Jerry's contact name to Jerry, then Senior, then deleted it all and left it as his original username. Fire. Suddenly, another message came through. Fire. I know you said you didn't know me yesterday. Terry's face heated up instantly. Fire. So let's say we just met today. Terry's fingers trembled slightly as he typed. Okay. Fire. Don't drink ice water if you have a cold. Terry licked his lips, glancing at the mineral water on the table. Fire. And thanks for the water yesterday. You're welcome, Terry replied. You already said thanks. That thanks was for adding me on WeChat. Terry blinked. He felt like he had lost the ability to converse properly. The following Tuesday afternoon, Terry arrived at the English lecture hall 5 minutes early. The room was empty. He sat in the same spot, back row by the window. The basketball court below was full of strangers. 5 minutes later, students trickled in. Dom arrived just as the bell rang, sliding into the seat next to Terry. You're actually earlier than me today, Dom noted. Terry just hummed. 2 hours later, the class ended. Terry immediately looked out the window. The strangers were still playing. He packed his bag slowly. He felt a strange unwillingness to leave, annoyed by the wasted 5 minutes of arriving early. He didn't want to go back to the dorm, but he had nowhere to go. He opened the campus map and located the basketball court nearest the science building. 15 minutes away. He walked over. Inside the indoor court, Terry scanned the players. There, amidst the noise and squeaking sneakers, was Jerry. He was wearing a full set of long-sleeved sportswear. Terry found a seat in the stands. The game was casual, half-court. Jerry had the ball. Two opponents blocked him. Jerry took a step, feinted forward, pulled back, sending one defender stumbling, spun around the other, and sank a shot. Applause erupted. "Flashy moves, Jerry," someone shouted. Jerry pulled his teammate up from the floor, patting his shoulder. He seemed hot. He walked to the sidelines and took off his jacket. He balled the gray jacket up in one hand. Just as everyone thought he would toss it onto the bench, he turned toward the stands. With a casual, one-handed throw, the jacket sailed through the air in a perfect arc and landed right in Terry's arms. Terry startled, clutching the fabric instinctively. He looked down at Jerry, stunned. Jerry acted as if he'd done nothing unusual, turning back to the court. Everyone in the front rows turned to look at Terry. Terry lowered his head, staring at the jacket, and swallowed hard. During the break, Jerry walked up the steps to the stands alone. Terry's heart began that frantic rhythm again as Jerry sat down beside him. Folded so neatly, Jerry observed, looking at the jacket on Terry's lap. "Bored," Terry murmured. "Why did you come over here?" Jerry asked. "It's a long walk from the art building." "Passing by," Terry lied. Jerry didn't question it. "Got water?" Terry hesitated, then pulled a bottle from the side pocket of his bag. Jerry took it, unscrewed the cap, and drank. Terry watched Jerry's Adam's apple bob as he swallowed, forcing himself to look away only when Jerry finished. "I drank from that," Terry said. "I know," Jerry smiled. "Why? Did you bring it for yourself?" Terry shook his head. "No." Then he nodded. "It was for you." Jerry laughed, leaning forward, elbows on his knees, looking directly at Terry. "Are you naturally prone to blushing?" Terry felt his face burn. He picked up Jerry's jacket and buried half his face in it. "Sorry," Jerry said, still smiling. "Shouldn't have asked." Changing the subject to spare him, Jerry asked, "Didn't see you wearing glasses last time. What's your prescription?" "I don't have one," Terry said. He demonstrated by poking a finger through the empty frames. "Just frames. Why wear them? Don't they look good?" Terry asked, pushing the gold wire frames up his nose and smiling at Jerry. Jerry paused, staring at him. "Good," he finally said. "Looks good, right? For the aesthetic." Jerry chuckled and took another sip of Terry's water. "Is your cold better?" "It's been gone for days," Terry said. "I didn't drink ice water." "Good." Jerry handed the bottle back. "Keep it." "I drank 2 of your waters," Jerry said casually. "Usually, people say it's okay, or just drink it." "Yeah," Terry said, looking at him seriously. "How do we settle this?" Jerry seemed momentarily stunned, then laughed. "Okay. I owe you. Wait for me after the game." 30 minutes later, Terry was sitting in a chair in Jerry's dorm room. Jerry had gone to shower. Terry was now facing 3 very confused roommates. "Want water?" Zach asked, breaking the silence. "No thanks." Terry waved his hand. "Haha." Nate tried to save the mood. "You watch them play?" "Yeah." "I don't know how to play," Terry offered. "You paint, right?" Nate nodded vigorously. Terry took out his phone to look busy. Meanwhile, the dorm group chat was exploding. Asterisk Zach, what is happening? The campus heartthrob is here, and it's dead silent. Asterisk. Asterisk Nate, you start talking. You're the extrovert. Asterisk. Dom, he's really handsome up close. Zach, Jerry has rendered me socially awkward. Zach looked up from his phone, took a deep breath, and dove in. Can we call you Terry? Sure. Terry is fine. Do you play games? Zach asked. I do, Terry nodded. What do you play? Nate perked up, sliding his chair over. They discovered they played the same MOBA game. I play too, Dom said. Jerry plays too. What position? Terry asked. Before anyone could answer, the bathroom door opened. Steam billowed out. Our Jerry is a jungler king, Nate said. He's amazing. Terry only heard half of it. His attention was entirely on Jerry. Jerry wasn't wearing a shirt. The sunset from the balcony door illuminated his torso. Muscles. Abs. Water droplets. Terry realized he was staring and quickly looked away. What position? He mumbled, disoriented. Support, he said, answering his own question about himself. But I'm bad. Doesn't matter. Nate waved a hand. You have our jungler king. Jerry, now pulling on a white t-shirt, walked over. Arranging games for me already? Just asking if he wants to play, Nate said. You willing? If he wants to, Jerry said, looking at Terry. Consider it. I'll give you an answer tonight. Nate looked confused. Answer for what? Playing a game. Terry laughed. Jerry grabbed his phone and signaled Terry with his eyes. Ready to go? Wear a jacket, Terry said, pointing to the closet. It's cold at night. I'm not cold. Terry didn't move. Jerry smiled, turned back, and grabbed a jacket. Okay now, student Terry. Okay. As they walked out, Zach raised an eyebrow at the closing door. Dinner was at a Sichuan restaurant. Terry looked at the menu, a sea of red chili icons. You order, Terry said. I'm easy, Jerry replied. Jerry ordered the spicy specialties. 10 minutes later, Terry was on his third cup of water. Can you really handle spice? Jerry asked, watching Terry's red lips and watery eyes. Terry hesitated, then shook his head. Not really. Jerry sighed, picking up a large pitcher of water. He gently tapped Terry's forehead with his knuckles. Why tell me you could? You wouldn't have brought me here, Terry whispered. Jerry laughed, helpless. You dummy. He flagged down a waiter and ordered several non-spicy dishes. Wipe the sweat off your forehead. Terry grabbed a tissue and dabbed his face. Did I bully you? Jerry asked, amused by Terry's pitiful expression. No. The rest of the meal was quiet but comfortable. Terry caught himself stealing glances at Jerry. Occasionally, Jerry would catch him, and Terry would quickly look at his food. Full? Jerry asked eventually. Full. Terry secretly scanned the QR code on the table, only to find the bill had already been paid. He frowned. Let's go. Jerry grabbed his jacket. Put it on, Terry reminded him outside. Jerry smiled, draping it over his arm. This meal doesn't count. I'll take you for something else next time. Okay. Calling you a dummy again isn't crossing a line, right? Terry beamed, his eyes crinkling behind the frames. Only a dummy calls people dummies. Back at the dorms, Jerry walked Terry to the intersection. Get on the game when you get back, Jerry said. Be my support. I'm not good, Terry warned again. No one is better than me, so just play however you want. Terry put his hands in his pockets. I want to see just how wild this jungler king is. Now I'm nervous, Jerry laughed. Go on. Back in his apartment, Terry logged in. He was immediately invited to a lobby with Jerry, Nate, and Dom. Terry, you made it. Nate's voice came through the headset. Hello, Terry said. Is that you? Jerry's voice was deeper over the mic. It's me, Terry said. Who else? Just checking. The game started. Terry picked a support character he barely knew. He followed Jerry into the digital jungle. Why are you taking my buff? Nate yelled. That's mine. I'll buy you one tomorrow, Jerry said calmly, stealing the monster for himself to level up faster. Terry, come here. Terry's character hopped onto Jerry's. Jerry dove into the enemy team, executing a perfect combo. Double kill. Triple kill. Wow, Terry whispered. Wait for me, Terry said as Jerry moved quickly across the map. Jerry stopped his character instantly. I thought I was your only jungler king. You are. Then keep up. I'm trying to get used to you, Terry said. Don't try, Jerry said low in his ear. I'll get used to you. Zach, listening in the dorm, choked on his apple. They played for hours. They won every game. At 11:30 p.m., Terry finally logged off. He had an assignment due the next morning, a drawing he hadn't finished. He sat before his easel. His phone buzzed. Fire, where do you live? I have a set of English practice papers for you. I'll drop them off. Terry replied, no need. I'll come get them tomorrow morning. Fire, okay. Good night, student Terry. Terry hesitated, then typed, good night, senior. The next morning, Terry woke up thinking of Jerry. He picked out a pair of black-framed glasses. Fire, why wear glasses if you aren't nearsighted? Jerry had sent the message, then retracted it. Fire, wear them. Terry smiled. Okay. He arrived at Jerry's dorm. The room smelled of smoke. Dom was smoking. Terry coughed. Put it out, Jerry told Dom immediately. My bad, Dom crushed the cigarette. Jerry led Terry into the hallway. Hate the smell. Yeah. Jerry handed over the papers. Here. Terry reached for them, but Jerry pulled back. Thanks who? Jerry asked. Terry's ears turned red. Thanks, senior. Jerry smiled and handed them over. Draw me a picture. What do you want? Draw a Terry for me. Terry looked down, heart hammering. Okay. Days turned into weeks. They fell into a rhythm. Jerry tutored Terry in English over video calls. Terry drew sketches for Jerry. One afternoon, Lance cornered Terry in the studio. Think you're special because you're hanging out with Jerry? Lance sneered. He's straight. You know what happened to the last guy who confessed to him? Jerry called it disgusting. Terry kept mixing paint. Get out. Lance kicked a table and stormed off. That weekend, Terry found Jerry at the campus pool hall. Lance was there too, lurking. During a game, Lance accidentally shoved Terry. Terry stumbled forward, crashing right into Jerry's chest. Oomph. Terry froze, smelling Jerry's scent, clean laundry and mint. You okay? Jerry asked, steadying him. Sorry. Terry mumbled, pulling away. Jerry looked at Lance. He didn't yell. He just lifted his pool cue and pointed the tip directly at Lance's throat. The room went silent. Apologize, Jerry said. His voice was ice cold. Lance turned pale. Sorry. Slippery floor. Get lost, Jerry said. After Lance fled, Jerry turned to Terry. Teach you. He stood behind Terry, guiding his arms, adjusting his stance. Lower. Look at the ball. Terry couldn't focus on the ball. He was entirely focused on the heat of Jerry's body pressed against his back. Focus, Jerry whispered near his ear. I can't, Terry admitted. Jerry laughed, a low rumble in his chest. A few days later, Terry decided to learn basketball. He wanted to understand Jerry's world. He went to the courts alone, asking a stranger for tips. He tried a layup. A massive guy from the opposing team didn't see him and slammed into him. Terry flew back, his palms skidding across the rough concrete. Terry, Zach's voice screamed from the sidelines. Jerry was there in seconds. He knelt beside Terry, his face terrifyingly dark. I'm fine, Terry said, hiding his hands. Jerry grabbed his wrists. Terry's palms were shredded, bleeding heavily. Does this look fine? Jerry snapped. He turned to the guy who hit him. The guy shrank back. I'm sorry, I didn't see him. Jerry didn't speak. He pulled Terry up and marched him to the infirmary. While the nurse cleaned the wounds, Jerry stood by the window, jaw clenched. Don't be mad, Terry said softly. It was my fault. Your hands are for painting, Jerry said, not looking at him. Not for getting smashed on concrete. I just wanted to play. Jerry turned. If you want to play, play with me. Only me. I won't hurt you. That night, it poured rain. Terry was stuck at the art studio, his phone dead. He stood under the awning, watching the deluge, resigning himself to a wet walk home. A roar of an engine cut through the rain. A black motorcycle pulled up to the curb. The rider kicked the stand down and pulled off his helmet. It was Jerry. Soaked, hair plastered to his forehead, grinning. You dummy, Jerry said. You're the dummy, Terry retorted, stepping closer. You didn't bring an umbrella either. Hop on. Terry climbed onto the back of the bike. Where do I hold? Jerry grabbed Terry's hands and shoved them into his jacket pockets. Hold on to me. Tight. The ride back to Jerry's off-campus apartment was a blur of wind, rain, and the warmth of Jerry's back. At the apartment, a converted warehouse-style loft, Terry looked around. The walls were covered in sketches. He froze. They were all him. Sketches of him eating, painting, sleeping in class. You drew these? Terry asked, breathless. Jerry walked up behind him, wrapping a towel around Terry's shoulders. I realized I liked drawing. Just drawing? Terry whispered. Jerry turned Terry around to face him. I thought I was just a regular senior to you. No, Terry said. Good. That night, Terry stayed over. There was only one bed. I can sleep on the floor, Terry offered. Get in, Jerry said, lifting the duvet. They lay side by side in the dark. The rain hammered on the roof. Terry reached out, his finger hovering over Jerry's hand, then gently touching a knuckle. Jerry's hand flipped over, interlacing his fingers with Terry's. He squeezed tight. Sleep, Jerry whispered. The next morning, Jerry had to leave for a math competition in another city. He left early, leaving a note and a breakfast pastry. Wait for me, the note said. Terry went back to his own apartment, floating. His cousin visited that afternoon to drop off a gift from his mom. Mom wants to know if you're dating anyone, his cousin said, eyeing Terry's suspicious smile as he looked at his phone. No, Terry said, texting Jerry. Really? You look like you're in love. Terry looked at the screen. Jerry had changed his gaming username to Claw, matching Terry's paw. Just a friend, Terry said, but his smile gave him away. Sure, his cousin laughed. Just a friend. Terry watched his cousin drive away, then looked down at his phone. Fire. I miss you already. Terry typed back. Come back soon, senior. He looked up at the sky. The rain had cleared. It was going to be a beautiful autumn.